I'm M. Carter Pierce, and this is the Daily Reel. So, this Saturday just passed, we saw something historic, something that never before happened in this country. And that's this: 7 million people, over 50 states, 7 million people hit the street and basically told Donald Trump that they're not going to tolerate a king. And I'm so proud of them because they did it peacefully. Not one protester was arrested. You know who was arrested? A couple of MAGA interlopers. In particular, one woman who pointed a gun from a car at protesters wearing a Trump shirt. So much for Mike Johnson's, hate America, violent left rhetoric, huh? The truth is out. Because you have to understand, we know what the stakes are. We know what Trump ultimately wants to do. Here's the game plan if you didn't figure it out yet. See, everything in Trump world has two separate purposes, okay? If I don't achieve goal one, I achieve goal two. So here's how it works. You create emergencies. For example, let's look at Los Angeles. Now, the whole use of ICE, and ICE now being one of the largest funded government organizations, you use ICE and you send them into a city like California. So that satisfies his and his base's racist needs. But also, it enrages people. You're taking innocent people off the streets. You have untrained, unhinged people out there. A lot of them you pardoned, Donald, from January 6th, who went into the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol. And what did they do? They vandalized it. They beat, choked, attacked, and bear sprayed law enforcement officers. But you claim you're down with law enforcement, but you allow that to happen. And then have the audacity to call them political prisoners and pardon them after what they admittedly did or got caught doing. They were convicted, Donald. The whole ICE situation satisfies his racial tendency. But by creating the emergency, the hope is that eventually it will get to the point where the people have had enough. And then he can use one of those good old presidential powers and declare a national state of emergency. Remember those words: national state of emergency. Because when you declare a national state of emergency, it unlocks a plethora of presidential powers. The first thing he can do is declare martial law, set up curfews, and put the troops in every state to maintain order. You will have tanks on the streets. Does he care? No, he don't care. Has nothing to do with him, per se. It hurts us. That's number one. Then number two, here it comes. He suspends habeas corpus. Habeas corpus literally means you have the body. When you want legal action before a court, you file a writ of habeas corpus. You tell the court that they have the body, and the court needs to do something with that body. It's the basis of jurisprudence. And if you suspend it, nobody has rights. Therefore, you've just nullified the legislative branch and the judicial branch of the government. Thereby, you've culminated complete control. That's the plan. That's what he wants. And when you have complete control, you're a king. When people lose their rights, you're a king. When there's disaster in the streets, you're a king. You know, I recently heard a story. As we all know, USAA is basically the bank of the military. What I mean by that is that it was created for soldiers. They're a credit union. They sell car insurance, life insurance. But the idea is that they're there to cater to the military and military families. Well, during the Trump shutdown that's currently going on right now, it's in its 20th day. He's about to break his own record. A soldier's wife went to USAA to try to get a small loan, to help the family float, hopefully until this shutdown is over. USAA said no. Her credit's good. The family's credit's good. But what's damning here is the implication. Why did they turn her down? There's only one reason. And we look at the markets for that because the markets are on a wild ride. They've been going down since the tariffs, but now they're on a literal roller coaster. Everything is messed up. And what the banks are afraid of is that this government is going to collapse under Trump. That's the long and short of it. It's the only reason. Because if the government collapses, then the soldiers don't get paid. And then they can't pay back their loans. That's a real worry. There's a lot of things that can go bad if this government collapses. But yet that gives Republicans and Trump an opportunity to seize total control. The end result is the creation and maintenance of Republican billionaire class control over society in this country. Has that become clear yet? That's what's going on. And you better get ready for it unless our Congress does something. I have, however, been enlightened to see in these special elections so many Republicans have lost in deep red territories. Earlier this year in a Pennsylvania county that's as red as blood, a Democrat won in the state legislative race. Just recently, Adelita Gravalho, in a district that Trump handily won in 2024. She won with 68%. 68% of the vote. Or 69, it might be 69. That's 2/3 of the vote. There are a couple more special elections this week, and it's going to happen again. Because the blinders are coming off. Only the sickest, most pathetic, small-minded MAGA loyalists are still buying Trump's bullshit. Because he said it, it's truth. That man hasn't told one thing true in his life. He's still lying, saying that he's 6'3", 215 pounds. You know who's 6'3", 215 pounds? Chris Hemsworth, the guy that plays Thor. Muhammad Ali was 6'3", 215 pounds. And they didn't look like that blob of shit. He lies to lie, to ingratiate his ego. And he doesn't want just power for power. He wants power to enrich himself. That's it and that's all. Screw the rest of us. The midterms are coming. Choose wisely. This is M. Carter Pierce, and you've been watching The Daily Reel. See you tomorrow.